Okay, welcome to Yin. We have established with Andrew that there's no injuries, and also
Nope.
you have done Yin yoga before. Okay.
No.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna start with our feet hips width apart. Step to the front of your mat, and this is the dangling pose. So we just slowly roll our back forwards. We slowly fold forward and clasp the elbows with opposite hands. And you want to bend your knees generously. So the focus is on the spine, just let it hang there and let your head hang as well. And if you like, you can move a bit from the left to the right and back, just to ease off the spine. Starting with a gentle stretch. If you like, you can just let the hands fall into the ground. Couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, just slowly, very slowly, roll up your spine. Take your time. Okay, and when you're ready, just come into the mountain pose. Again, our feet are hips width apart, and you just ground through your feet down, and you stand tall as if someone pulls on the crown of your head, just pulls you up. Stand tall. Just imagine there's roots going down through your feet. You can close your eyes and just take a couple of deep breaths here. Just see where you're at today, whether your body feels good today, or maybe not so good, or maybe you didn't have such a good morning. Just let it all go and just breathe in and breathe out. And in and out. So today we want to focus on the earth element. The earth element is prevalent in late summer, and it focuses on two meridians, the stomach and the spleen, and that's what we're trying to focus on today with our poses. Just take a few more breaths, give yourself some time to arrive in this moment. Perfect. One more breath, and then open your eyes. And then we come into our next pose. We come down into a tabletop position. So just place your knees and your hands on the ground. And then do a couple of cat and cow movements. So you breathe in, and then breathe out. And just follow your own rhythm like that for a couple of breaths. You can round your back while you breathe out. All right, and then we slowly move onto the floor. We lie onto our belly, and we place the elbows underneath our shoulders. Place the palms flat on the floor in front of you and prop yourself upright. So you just try to find the right position for yourself, that there's no niggle in the lower back, but you get a good amount of tension there that's just right for you. And then you slowly just let your head relax and let it fold forward. If you like, you can just use a prop and just rest your head on top of the block. Don't forget to breathe. The Sphinx pose is really good for the spine. It creates a deep compression and stimulation of the sacral lumbar arch. It's also called the door of life, that's stored here, meaning it's where the life force is stored. And it also stimulates our urinary bladder and kidney meridians, and also the spleen and the stomach meridians. A few more breaths here. And then if you would like to intensify the Sphinx pose a little bit more, we can come into a seal. Just lift your head back up, take the prop away, and walk your hands slowly outwards and stretch them out to increase the tension just up. That's right, so that you can feel it in your lower back. We only stay here for a couple more breaths. And then slowly come back down onto your elbows and just lie flat on the ground and place your left cheek on the ground. And your arms right on your sides. And rest here for a few breaths. And then place your cheek on the other side. Yeah. Then when you're ready, we slowly come back up into our tabletop position. Just onto our knees and our hands. And we come into the child's pose. So walk your knees to the outer side of your mat and your toes are touching. And then slowly walk your hands in front of you. But sit back with your seat bones on your heels. One more breath here, and then slowly walk back up into a tabletop position. And then from the tabletop position, we push with our feet up into the downward dog. We take a few breaths here, and we would like to come into the dragon pose. So we start in downward dog, and we step our right foot between our hands toward the top of the mat. We walk front forward until your front knees are right above your heels. So our joints like to stack on top of each other, so the knees on top of our heel. And then slide your back knee toward down and towards the back of your mat as far as you can, so that you find a good stretch. Keep the hands on either side of your front foot, or an option, if you just want to have it the foot further out, you can bring the right arm in, whatever you prefer to do. Might just slide a bit to release the knee here. Might be a bit better if you have the knee on a towel. And find your breath here in this stretch. It's a great hip and groin opener, and it stretches the back leg. Every pose has a mental, physical, and energetical benefit. And it's normal in Yin to experience an uncomfortable sensation. So what we try to do is we try to breathe into that area of our body. And the simplest way to focus is to bring your attention to the breath. You watch your breath as a discomfort arises, or when your mind starts to wander. Two more breaths here. And we slowly slide our right foot to the back and come into our downward dog to stretch our back legs a bit. Try to walk it a bit if you like. Stay here for 3 breaths. And then we repeat the dragon pose. Bring our left foot between our legs. We stack the left heel, the left knee on top of the left heel. Bring the knee down. And breathe into this stretch. A few more breaths here. Then we slowly come out of the pose into tabletop position and just move a little bit our hips to the right and the left. Take a few more breaths here. And then bring the legs out the front. And we come into a supported, take the towel away. We come into a supported boat. So we place the feet the front, we sit up tall, we hold the back of our knees and just sit back up tall. Take a few breaths here. One more breath. We slowly make our way up into a standing position. And we come into the squat pose. So we stand, feet hip width, the feet are hips width apart. And then we point our toes a little bit outwards and we slowly come down to a squat position. Bring your hands in front of you, hands in prayer, and allow the elbows to lightly pull and press into your knees on the inside. So we can add a little bit of, just have a bit of prop underneath here that we're going to hold here for a couple of minutes. This is a great hip opener and it releases the lower back, stimulates the liver, the kidney and the urinary bladder meridian. Close your eyes and don't forget to breathe. Few more breaths here. And we
slowly place our hands in front of us, come out of this pose, the props away, and we just sit onto our buttocks. And we place the hands behind us. We do windshield wipers, so we just slowly move the knees to the left and to the right. Now we slowly come into the caterpillar pose. So while we sit, we extend and straighten our legs out in front of us and remove the flesh away from our seat bones. And we slowly, so we just let our feet fall out and relax, and we slowly, basically we want to have our nose hovering above the knees, but you find your right position for you, and you can place the hands on the ground or on the top of your legs, and you just fold forward as much as your body allows you to. We're going to stay here for a few minutes, and again, if necessary, you can just put some props underneath the knees. So props always add to our practice. They give us extra space. And try to find a spot here with your optimum amount of resistance. Switch off your muscles. Yin speaks to our organs and our nervous system. So you don't get the benefit from Yin if you flex your muscles. We want to reach, in Yin we want to reach the connective tissue that's the layer underneath the muscle, so we don't need to use our muscles. The caterpillar pose stresses the ligaments along the back of the spine. It compresses the stomach organs, which helps digestion and stimulates our kidneys. Two more breaths here. And when you're ready, slowly roll up your back. Bring your hands behind you. And again, we do some windshield wipers. Then we come into our next pose. It's the reclining twist. And then reclining twist, we just lie onto our back and we stretch out the legs, and then we bring in the knees to our chest and we press the knees into our chest with the help of our hands. And we can gently rock from side to side to give the lower back a bit of a massage here. And then we place the soles of our feet on the mat, about hips width apart. And then we slowly let the knees fall to your right side. So what you want to do is, you can shuffle your right hip a little bit further towards the center of the mat, since the joints like to be stacked so that the hip joints are sort of on top of each other rather than next to each other. We can use some props underneath the knees. The reclining twist releases the sacrum and the lumbar spine. It massages internal organs and it releases toxins. So it's really good to restore the equilibrium in the nervous system and to release tension in the spine. A few more breaths here. And then we bring the knees back up and bring the knees into our chest, squeeze them into our chest and rock gently from side to side. And we place the soles of our feet on the mat and we slowly let our knees fold to the other side. We can stretch the arms out wide to the sides. A few more breaths here. And then using your core, you slowly bring your knees and your legs back to the center. Remove any props, come up, and we do again our windshield wipers. Our next pose is the supported fish pose. So sitting up with your legs stretched out in front of you, you place your arms sort of behind you as if you were going to do the windshield wipers. You want to shuffle it further to the front, and then you just slowly lower your back. You have to move a bit. We lower our back onto a block. The block is roughly above the rib cage and in between your shoulder blades. It's a great chest opener, so you slowly just want to maybe a little bit further front, and you just slowly want to actually bring your head all the way out. You lie on it and bring your arms out wide. There's that too. It's a great heart and chest opener. few last breaths here. And in order to come out of this pose, and with the help of our core, we slowly roll over to one of a preferred side and roll over to one side, like roll off your prop. And then we lie flat on the back. And again, we bring our knees into our chest. And this time, it's the happy baby pose. So we try to grab our calves, and we stack the knees on top. And if you can reach the ankles, the toes, the Achilles, and just press the legs out towards the sky. It's like a counter pose, and try to rest your head on the ground. So if you can't reach your legs, you can just even hold the back of the knees with your arms. You can move a little bit gently from one side to the other if you like to. You don't have to. Two more breaths. And then slowly bring your feet back onto the ground. And you can do one last press of the knees into your chest and just massage the lower back a little bit to remove any niggles you have. And then we come into our last pose, the Shavasana. You just lie flat on the ground. Just lie flat on the ground. Have your arms out wide, let your feet fall out. And just move some props underneath the knees. Like a pillow underneath your head. Just here, check in with your breath and see if there were any changes over the 45 minutes of this class that you noticed now in your breath. Check in with your thoughts and emotions that are present right now and let your breath flow freely.
If you like, in your own time, you can do a bit of a body scan. Just start on top of your crown, your forehead. Relax your jaw, your tongue, your upper arms, forearms, your hands. Relax your chest, your stomach. Your hips. Relax your thighs, your knees. Relax your ankles and relax your feet. We're going to take a few more breaths here. And when you're ready, you can slowly move over to one side, your preferred side, left or right, and curl up like a ball and just rest in that position for a few breaths before we come slowly up into a seated position when you're ready. Come into a seated position, you can sit on a block. And raise your hands in prayer. Take a few breaths here. Thank yourself that you took the time out of your day today to practice some yin yoga. Thank you for joining me on the mat today.